Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another reaction. Today we have another new property, a Warhammer 40k song. I may be a nerd, but I've never been like Warhammer 40k nerdy. I've never been Space Marine D&D nerdy. Somebody's gonna hate me for that comment. Anyway, Pobat put this into my Patreon queue forever ago, and apparently it got deleted at some point, and I don't really know how that happened, but he asked about it, and I was like, I don't remember seeing that song, so he re-requested it, and now we're here with my personal obligation, feeling bad about missing it however many months ago, to listen to it and actually see what this has to offer. So let's get right into it, shall we? I'm obviously presuming it's going to be pretty atmospheric and probably very cinematic, given the obvious. Ooh. I mean, I knew there was going to be cool sound design in it too. Like, why wouldn't there be, right? Whew. There's a lot of like feedback charge on that that bass there. It feels like somebody overloading an amplifier more than it is like a bass pulse. That's really cool. It's gonna be one of those slow lead-in songs. It's gonna take a second to get to the meat, but I know it's gonna be there. A lot of atmospheric droning, of course. The sound effects at the beginning obviously sounding kind of like guns and other wartime sounds scattered throughout. There's the vaguely Gregorian vocals I was totally anticipating. I love how much of this my brain is like prepared to hear just knowing the concept of Warhammer 40k, but ooh, the organ was that was not expected. That's new, actually. All right, that kind of puts the song into a different expectation category than I initially was thinking. Ooh. There's that like deep static click happening. It's the same effect that that bass rhythm had on at the beginning. Just reintroducing it. Ooh, the swell on this. Dude, the sound design in this is so cool. There's so many layers to it. I heard like a charging up gun in the background of that last swell. You know, I'm actually surprised at how subdued this has stayed. I kind of expected it to keep building, but I think it capped itself off with that last passage. So leaning more into the atmospheric side. I thought it was going to get a little bit to the like war action sound more than the atmosphere at some point. Love that organ sound. The way that sets in the mix is so pretty. It's like being phased in and out of certain frequencies. It's really neat. It's getting lost under other stuff. back to that part. Oh, I love the punch on that bass. Just... That's the type of punch you feel like right up here. It's not like the low chest, it's like right up at the base of the throat. Really good, solid punch. Starting to fade out now. Oh? It keeps sounding like it's gonna come back. I can't tell if it's fading out or not. I think it is. Oh, see what I mean? It does that every single time you think it's like leading to an end resolution. Nope. It's, yep. Oh, is that it? Dude, they had so many, like, false endings. There's another one. It's going back on the ambience. Okay. That's cool how many times it faked me out. When songs can pull that off, that can be hard to do. Just letting it fizzle out. You're never quite sure if it's going to be done. I love that effect. And again, the sound design on this. That like resonating, like crackle frequency there. Dude, okay. All right. Better and different than I expected. So after the song ended, I looked at the runtime and I was like, oh, I thought it was like a 4-minute song. It's like a 6.5-minute song. So that tracks why I thought it was going to be ending sooner. So like subconsciously, I was of that presumption. This was really neat. I thought it was going to be a lot more of like a high action, maybe some more of the fantasy elements being thrown in there. I thought it was going to be a little bit more Lord of the Rings, I suppose, is kind of what my brain was expecting. Because while I know Warhammer 40k, I've never touched it aside from seeing other people play it and seeing like figures out there and some extended universe stuff that fan bases have made, but I've never like engulfed myself in the lore or anything. So I'm kind of at a loss for assuming what the sound was going to be like. But I suppose knowing that the whole thing takes place in like space sci-fi fantasy, I probably should have been expecting something a little bit more like this. I love those like Gregorian style vocals in the back. They always sound just a little hellish, you know, like something's just not correct in this specific part of the world that the song is playing in. And of course, all those war sounds, such great sound design on this as a whole. And I love that I could tell it was weaponry without it actually being that way. It was a lot of like phaser sounds and like really distant, just impact sounds just tossed in and made really soft. Like at the end, there was that little crackle, that static in there. Like that felt like a Geiger counter to me for like radiation. And I don't know if that was intended, but that's kind of the flavor I was receiving. There was just a lot going on with this. There were so many layers and it would take me hours to like dive through this entire song and pick apart every layer and what each one was doing. Overall, of course, the main meat of the song being that chant and the organ, which was just beautiful. And like I was saying during the reaction, I loved how it was kind of like going in and out. Like it felt like it kept getting lost behind other frequencies being played around it. Like it was being buried and brought back to the forefront. Like what would be happening if you were trying to hear an organ being played out in a war zone, like on a battlefield. It makes you feel like you're sitting on the battlefield, existing in the space all these sounds are coming from, with just huge oppressive energy over top of you that just, you're like, the final boss music has started. Where is he? And I love that mixed sound of like the organ and those Gregorian vocals sounding vaguely like Roman Latin. It feels like there are a cyborg priests or something that are coming to take my shit. Like I'm terrified and the space mages haven't arrived yet. Like, I don't know what's going on. And like I said, I really don't know anything about the lore or the universe that this takes place in, but this feels like Space Crusade spades. Like that's 100% the feeling I'm getting out of this. Add some metal to it, you got Sabaton. Like that's the energy I'm pulling from this song. And I love that. It's way more cinematic than I was even anticipating. That shifted my entire opinion of what I was going to be hearing for the rest of the time, but then it ended up kind of just staying there instead of continuing to grow like I was expecting it to. I'm also kind of confused on why this has music, because as far as I've known Warhammer 40k, I've only ever known it as like a physical board game, which obviously wouldn't have music attached to it. So I'm figuring that this is probably from like a game that's a spin-off of the series, because I'm sure like D&D, they probably have like sub-licensing stuff and they make like other properties related to said thing as like little branches of the lore. I'm sure it goes way deeper than I would ever be able to comprehend, because that's just how these things work. But I could see that the composer was Guillaume, who I've never heard of, but I can easily tell you has handled some of the best sound design I've heard in music related to gaming so far. That was some of the most cinematic sound design overall. When it comes down to like the gritty, realistic stuff that just hits that atmosphere of war, this is definitely highly up there. So hats off to you, Guillaume, for doing a fantastic job on this track, and I'm sure there's plenty more where this came from, but I'll leave it to all of you if you want to see me get to more of this, or if you just want to see me get to other stuff in general. Leave a comment down below and I will do my best to get to it. And otherwise, if you like this video and you want to follow and support me for more, you know how to do all that, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!